When Gerardo Sandoval was here, he encouraged us to talk to some family law practitioners to see how things went with you in the family law court, and because he said you might find that some people had problems with Judge Mellon. And we have actually talked to a handful of attorneys, and a few of them have said that you were impatient and a little brusque at times, and I was just wondering what your thoughts are on that, and what working there was like.
As I said a moment ago, working in family law is really very demanding.
Mm-hmm.
Number one, there's no jury.
Mm-hmm.
Number two, the judge has immensely wide discretion. Mm-hmm. Number three, very often, none of the choices are very good. You've got tough problems. You've got people who are under immense strain. And they're looking for the judge to do more than the judge probably can do to solve the problem. You also have a lot going on. What I pushed for from the lawyers, not the self-represented litigants, but from the lawyers, was to give me the information that the rules require them to give me on a particular motion, so I can get to it and get it analyzed and understand the problem and make a fair and effective decision. Family law lawyers have very much their own culture. Mm-hmm. And I certainly wasn't part of that culture before I did that job. Occasionally there will be bumps in the road. Mm-hmm. When you're asking for what you think you're entitled to, and they're accustomed to doing it differently, you run into some problems. Mm-hmm. Overall, I think those problems were not serious. And I would always say that if you really want to understand what public service in the judiciary is all about, look at the work that the family law judges do.
Speaking more broadly on this subject, I mean, Supervisor Sandoval, as the challenger, is trying to make your record as the incumbent, part of his campaign. Can you tell us, you told us a little bit before about what you feel are some of your strengths, kind of in general, your experience and your communication skills. But can you give us some really specific examples of ways in which you feel that you stand out as a judge on the court?
Sure. Well, perhaps I can. One of the things you have to bear in mind is that no judge goes around sitting, watching other judges work as a regular matter. So, compare and contrast can be a little difficult. What I am very much about is seeing to it that trials in which I am presiding are fair and efficient. One of my concerns is seeing to it that when we ask 12 or 15 people to come into court as a jury and give up a piece of their lives for a few days or a few weeks, that we can at least give them the understanding that their service is valuable, that we respect them and their time, and that we will use their time and not waste it. I make this point in just about every trial I start, telling the jury when we're selecting them that I'm going to do my very best to see to it we don't waste their time. And that means, the lawyers have to be prepared. The lawyers have to do the work they need to do before the testimony starts. And the lawyers can't expect from me to stop the trial for a sidebar conference to discuss a point that we should have covered before the trial started. That management of trials is one of the things I take most seriously, and one of the things I think I'm effective at. The net result of that is that by focusing on using the jurors' time effectively, the lawyers do a better job of communicating with the jurors. There is nothing that turns a jury off more than what they think is a lot of hot air or legal mumbo jumbo. And it's tough to convince some lawyers of that, but I'm absolutely convinced of it. I'm watching jurors' reactions and watching results. I'm absolutely convinced.